Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS news for Thursday, February 27. The Jamaican government has expanded its travel ban imposed to prevent any local introduction or spread of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, to now include Italy, South Korea, Singapore, and Iran. These are the countries reporting the highest number of COVID-19 cases outside of mainland China, for which the Health Ministry had previously announced a travel ban on January 31.
The majority of cases in those countries, or these countries, which I'll name, have been due to in-country transmission. So unlike in the past when countries had imported cases, what is happening now is that within countries, cases are being transmitted or spreading internally, which makes these countries a higher risk than previously when the cases were isolated.
The health minister provided that update in a press briefing this morning. He reported that of 141 persons who have arrived from China within the 14-day incubation period, 5 are in government quarantine, another 5 are quarantined at home, while 5 are in isolation. The health minister has, meanwhile, explained why port health officials refused docking clearance for the MSC Meraviglia cruise ship at the Ocho Rios port on Tuesday.
I think it should be known that the vessel, having had a requirement under the quarantine laws to report any health-related threat that is on board prior to landing, did not make such a report. In fact, they filed a report which did not give any indication that that was the case. When the health team actually boarded the vessel, they discovered that there was an individual in isolation on the vessel. That in effect is a breach of the protocol. And so the health team, having learned of the situation after they boarded, requested additional particulars, the clinical history, etc. Vessel came in at 8:30. My understanding it should have left at 4. We never got information hours after requesting it. A decision was taken that given all of those factors, the late notification, the breach of protocol, the fact that that person was isolated, it was in the best interest of our country and our people to ask the vessel to continue on to its next port.
In other health news, an additional 30 Cuban medical professionals are set to arrive in Jamaica today to further bolster government's delivery of quality healthcare services. They will join the 276 Cuban medical professionals currently serving the local public health sector. This follows Tuesday's signing for the renewal of a technical cooperation agreement between Jamaica and Cuba for another 3 years. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton points out that the agreement follows a third bilateral agreement of technical cooperation, which was signed between both governments in 2015.
Without this partnership, Jamaica and Jamaica's healthcare system would be weaker. The reality is that the Cuban medical personnel who have come here have played a very critical role in terms of supporting our healthcare system at all levels, but primarily at the level of our hospitals.
Ambassador of Cuba to Jamaica, Her Excellency Inez Forres Fernandez, says it marks a significant milestone in both countries' ongoing collaboration.
The agreement we signed this morning gives response to the demanding times we are living today and will contribute to face the current complex challenges in the health sectors.
Meanwhile, the Marella Discovery 2 cruise ship made its second call to Port Royal on Monday, carrying 1,800 visitors to Kingston. This is the cruise ship's second arrival to the recently renovated Fort Charles, Port Royal's first fort. The 500-year-old heritage site was recently refurbished by the Port Authority of Jamaica and other government agencies. Fort Charles was revitalized with additional features, including officers' quarters, a new ticket booth, and a souvenir and merchandise shop. There's also a new Giddy House exhibit building adjacent to the original Giddy House that was built in 1888. Other attractions to be introduced include a Port Royal Museum, live archaeological dig, a pirate wharf, and the Sunken City Museum. The restoration of Fort Charles is part of the Port Royal Development Plan, which aims to transform the historic town into a thriving center for tourism. The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, is reporting estimated economic growth of 0.1% for the October to December quarter of 2019. Director General Dr. Wayne Henry says this represents 20 consecutive growth quarters for the economy. He was speaking at the PIOJ's quarterly press briefing on Tuesday.
The outturn during the quarter reflected the combined impact of 1. Increased external demand from Jamaica's main trading partners, which supported increased exports of some goods and services. 2. Increased hotel room capacity and air seat capacity, which facilitated growth in stopover visitor arrivals.
Other factors outlined by Dr. Henry include favorable weather conditions, which facilitated better outputs for some domestic crop groups, as well as increased use of financial services. PIOJ's Director General says greater growth was hindered by the winding down of major construction projects, the slow rollout of new strategic investment projects, and plant downtime due to aged equipment in several industries. Overall, he says real gross domestic product, GDP, for the 2019 calendar year is estimated to have grown by 0.9%, representing consecutive growth for 7 years. 9 high schools from across the island have now been incorporated into the new Technical and Vocational Education and Training TVET program.
So right now we have 9 high schools which are a part of our new TVET program. 8 of them technical high schools and 1 a traditional high schools, because we want to prepare our youngsters for the future.
The Education State Minister was speaking recently at a professional development symposium put on by the Heart Trust National Service Training Agency. And finally, the Ministry of Education is reporting that the overall administration of the Primary Exit Profiles PEP ability test for this year went smoothly with no major issues. Reports from across the ministry's 6 regions indicate that the exam on Tuesday began on time, all scripts were in place, and the centers were observed to be properly arranged and students were settled. Just over 39,000 students are registered to sit the exams this year. The second component, the Grade 6 performance tasks, will take place on Thursday, March 19 and Friday, March 20. The curriculum-based tests are set for Thursday, April 23 and Friday, April 24, 2020. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.